about someone who's not an ish, so it doesn't mean anything. And the Gemara was trying to figure out what does it mean someone who's not an ish. The Gemara came to a conclusion over here that it means a behemoth. You see, it starts the line of Amr of Papa, about 15 lines from the bottom. The beginning of the line, Amr of Papa. So most of the Amr of Papa said, Ramuta behemoth. It comes to preclude a behemoth. The Ein Znus for behemoth. Relationship with a behemoth is not considered znus. Amr Rabbi Bogomilsky with Rav Ashi, he said to Rav Ashi, "Mino ha milsa the Amr Rabban Ein Znus for behemoth." And where do they derive it? The Ksiv in the pasuk says, "Loisavi by Kabbonis," or talks about what you can't use for a korban. It says, "Loisavi you shouldn't bring esna zayna." Esna zayna means if someone gave an animal a gift to a zayna in order to do znus, znus for her. That's what esna zayna. Mechir kelev means that you exchanged a shepsel for a kelev. So, or you gave your kelev, and for the kelev you got a shepsel. So that you can bring in the Beis Hamikdash. V'tanya, and we learned estem kelev. What about an estem kelev? If someone gave a zayna money that she should be mezana with his kelev, or mechir zayna, if someone mechir zayna is if he had a shivcha and he exchanged her for a tle, so then is that mutarim. This is mutar shenema, and the pasuk is like Yisrael Esna Zayna Mechekel Gam Shneim. So we say from here Shnayim V'Lo Yabo. Only dafka this form is also, but not the other form. So now, being that we say that Esna Kelev is mutar, why is Esna Kelev mutar? Because the guy's stomach, it's not considered znus. When it's with a tlev to a zayna, that's znus. But if he gave a tlev that the zayna should have relationship with the kelev, that's not considered znus. So you see from here that znus with a behemoth is not considered znus. So what does the Mishnah mean that you can't have a roy ish, eina ish? It means if it was a behemoth. So the Gemara, if that's the case, Be'ela Shichva Zera Glomali, why does the Torah have to emphasize Bechal Shachva B'Shaisa Shichva Zera? So the Gemara, Miboyle look at the Tanya. Shichva Zera Prat L'Davracha. My Davracha. What is the Davracha? Like the Gemara, Amr of Shesha, Prat L'Shekina Law, the Shalai Kedaka. If he was Mekanaha, Shalai Kedaka, not the normal way, but it's called in English Sarami. Amr Rava Shalai Kedaka, Mishkav Isha. So that's considered znus. So you can't say that it's excluding that because Shalai Kedaka is also considered znus. Ella Amarava Prat L'Shekina Law Derech Evarim. Derech Evarim means that there wasn't znus, it's just that the body contact. Amalei Abaya Prisusa Ba'amahi Uprisusa Mi Amar Rachmana. In other words, your Torah doesn't have to tell you that that's not included. That's on the. We're talking about znus the whole time. This is not znus. Amar Abaya, Prat L'Shekina Law b'neshika. It was Mekana. Neshika means that the Eva didn't go in, but it just touched the area. So the Gemara Haneh, there's a shal in the Gemara in Yevamis, what's called ha'ara. So there's Haneh man diyama ha'ara zuach nasus atara means entering in. Abu Neshika v'loi krum, but Neshika is not considered bia. Ibezei hainu the also kral b'milte Neshika. So it's something. He says it's something. Maybe about there's something. The part has to be mamayated. El man diyama ha'ara zu Neshika. One opinion wants to say the other make Neshika. Ibezei. So it's Neshika is a regular relationship. So that's not it can't be mamayata. That's mamash relationship. So the Gemara la'olam l'kshekina l'derech evarim la'olam that the kina was derech evarim, bodily contact, just body contact, not being together. Umal the same I would think. Mikpei the Baal Tali Rachmana. The whole union of sotah depends on what the Baal is against. He's upset with it. The Mela Ubal Hakapid, and we see that the Baal is makbid because he tells us, I'm warning you, don't do it. The Mela Kamashal Suharan, no, that it has to be an union of Mamash Nus. So what is it? So it's a behemoth, but not Derech Evarim. Zot the Gemara, I started a new thing now. Amar Rav, Amar Shmuel. Shmuel said, Yisa Adam Daima, V'al Yisa Baz Daima. He's giving an eitzah. If a person is looking to get married, a daima is a woman that everyone's talking about her. She has a very bad reputation. Everyone's talking about her. So he says, better marry someone with a very bad reputation. Don't marry the daughter of a mother that has a very bad reputation. The daughter itself has no bad reputation, but if it's a daughter of a mother that has a bad, don't marry. What's the reason? That the shazu bo mitipak sheda. This lady that everyone's talking about her parents may have been fine people. But the daughter of hers, who knows where the mother became pregnant from. But Rabbi Yechon says, "Fakat Yisa Adam Baz Daima." A person should marry the daughter of a mother with a bad reputation. Va'al Yisa Daima, and he shouldn't marry a lady with a bad reputation. Why? He says, "Shazu Eimedes b'cheskes kashus, v'zu ein eimedes b'cheskes kashus." The daughter has a cheskes kashus. The mother, everyone's talking about her, so she doesn't have a chazaka anymore. In fact, the Gemara Meisrei we learned in the Brisa. Noisa Adam Daima, a person should marry a daima, a woman that everyone's talking about her. Amar Rava, so the Akasha on the one that said before that you shouldn't marry such a lady. Amar Rava, Dr. Rava, I don't know, it's the Tisbra, Vitrachstu, Noisa L'chatchila, that it means that's the type of woman you should marry. Ella, it means im nosa. If he married her, he doesn't have to divorce her. So Taninami Baz Daima. So you have to correct it that it shouldn't mean L'chatchila. So also correct it, not the word diamond, but it's missing. It should say Baz Daima. So it's no kasha from there. The hilchos of the halacha is Yisa Adam Baz Daima. A person should better marry a daughter of a woman that has a bad reputation. Val Yisa Daima. What's the reason? Because the Tani, Rav Tachlifa, Bar Rava, Kame de Ravavua, Isha Mazana, Boneg Shadam. Even a woman that has a bad reputation, it doesn't have a reflection on her children. Why not? Because we have a call that the Rav Be'ilois, Acher Habal, even a woman's Mazana, from that's not a steady thing. The Rei Bilas is Achabal, so you can accept that it came from in the form of marriage. So the Gemara, boy, Rav Amman had a question. Hoysa prusa biyosa mahu. What if she was exceptionally not nice woman, not modest woman? So the Gemara say, Aliva the mandiyama ein isha misaberes el samuch levesto. There's a question the Gemara is going to say, when there's a woman, what we call it in English, they would call it ovulation. When does a woman ovulate, and that's the time when she could conceive. So there's one opinion that says that it's before she gets nida, and there's one opinion that says that it's after by the time of the mikveh. So that time, like 12 days later, so that time, so Gemara says that. According to the one that holds that a woman becomes pregnant, mostly samach levesta, leiti boilach. It's no question you shouldn't marry such a woman. Why? Because he doesn't know when she's getting her vesed, and and he doesn't watch her. Kiti boilach. When is it a good question? And he knows already that his wife is a nida, because she told him during the time that especially he knows what the count days when it will be tefillah. Is saying, what's your opinion? Should we say kiven the yodaba nitura mintala? One that he knows about it when she's ready to become pregnant, he'll watch her. And maybe she wouldn't that time. So maybe it's a right view. So the child is no problem. I did more tama kivan the prutza b'yaisa the she's very pretty. So it's even difficult to watch her. She could slip away. And maybe it's a more take. Okay. Now the Gemara goes on a part of the Mishnah where it says that the bezin could warn a lady. V'ilu shebezin mas. So the Gemara, and we gave an example that the husband is deaf and dumb, and that the Gemara Tanu Rabbanan ish my Talmud Laima. It would have been enough if it says ish. It would have been enough. My Talmud Laima ish. Why does it have to say ish ki sish ish thing? So the Rabbis ish is chedesh, veish is shaita, veish is shimun, v'shahol balam dinas hayom, v'shahol yachavish v'beis asurim, shebezim mekanim lahem lepaisram miksuvasum. That the Gemara, I would think yachol aflash kaisam, that bezin should also continue, and if she violated, so and she went to the conclusion that the bezin could also be mashka. Talmud Leima behavior issues ishtain. So the Baal said behavior issues ishtain. Only the husband could bring her, but no one else could bring her. If Yesi Leima aflash kaisa, that their kinu helps, not that they're gonna be mashka. It helps even for mashka. How does it help for mashka? Ukshiyetzi Baila mibeis asurim is yeshkena. So tomorrow, but my committee, what's the machaikas over here? So tomorrow, Rabbanan Savi, Rabbanan hold Be'inan, V'kina, V'avi. V'kina, I mean that the one who is Makana, he's the one that has to bring her. So the Bezin can't do it. But Yesi Sava, Lei Be'inan, V'kina, V'avi, it doesn't have to go together. So the Bezin can be Makana, and he's the one that can bring her. We read this before already. Ish asher tishta isha takas isha. The isha without a yud is a woman, and isha is the husband. Shetishta ish takas isha. L'hakesh ish leisha. Now we know the Moshe found in the Gemara more that when makish ish isha, we're going to get all the lavin in the Torah. But that's not what we're talking about over here. A woman is mechuyev mitzvah shelein ein ezman grama, and she's also to be over on a lavin in the Torah. That we know the isha is the same. Over here, when we say well, hakish ish isha, it has something to do with sotah. It's especially in with sotah. That the Gemara. L'hakish isha l'isha, the isha ish, that they both have to be in the same standard. So the Gemara hilchasa, but again, to what is it again? Omar Rashi said, "Kishem sheim hu suma, mashke." If the husband is blind, he can't be mashka. The ksiv v'nelameina isha. Nelameina isha means that the husband could see, but he missed up on this one. But if he's blind, then pas himself v'nelameina isha. Is kach the zalbuzach im haisa suma. If she was blind, well haisa shoisha, she didn't read. So you have with madame ish isha ish. Ravashi says a different type of example. Kishem shechigeres v'gemes. If she was a chigeres, that means that she limbs, or gidemes, she's missing an ava. Let's say missing a hand. Lahaisa shaisa. The pasuk says, "V'hamed isha, v'hamed hakaydes isha unei Hashem v'nosan akapera." So she has to be able to stand, and if she limbs, she can't stand. And he said, "V'nosan akapera." If she's missing a hand, she can't hold it. Kach im hayachiga gidem. If the husband was one of these, is lahaya mashke. Ma baravashiyama. Another thing, kishem she ilmus lahaisa shaisa. Just like ilmus means she can't speak. So if she's this ilmus, she doesn't drink. Why not? The ksiv amar isha amar. She has to be able to answer amen amen. Kach the same thing. Im hoya ilaim. If he was not able to speak, is lahoya mashke. Okay, we'll start now the next Mishnah. It's a long Mishnah. We'll see if we'll get through the whole Mishnah or not. The whole Amid is a Mishnah. Sotah Gemara. Kishem shamayim baitken oisa, kach hamayim baitken oisa. That's the question in the Gemara later. Who is the oisa? Is it the husband or is it the bail? That we'll see in the Gemara. But the water has an effect on her and also on him. Shenam Shaitan pasuk ubo. It says 2 times ubo. So ubo in her and in him. Kishem shasur l'baal, kach asur l'baal. Just like she becomes also to the baal, the same thing. If the baal wants to marry her, he's not allowed to marry her. Shenema nitma v'nitma. This is a question of the Gemara. Does it mean 2 times nitma, or the word v'nit instead of nitma and v'nitma we dash them 2 times? This we'll see later in the Gemara on Chavches. Rabbi Kiva, David Rabbi Kiva. Amar Rabbi Yeshua, Kacha Yedairesh Zechariah ben Hakatzav. However, Rabbi Omer Shnei Pam Amurim B'Torah Nitma v'nitma is echad l'bal be'echad l'bayil. That means, like I said before, is it all from the one word v'nitma that we dash in 2 things, or is it because you have nitma and v'nitma, or it's from the 2 times that it says the inyan of nitma? The Gemara will discuss that. Now the Gemara says, "Bay bayim darish Rabbi Kiva." Now what does it mean, bay bayim? On that day, Rabbi Kiva dashen. So Rashi explains over here. There's a story in the Gemara in Masechtas Brachos that Rabbi Gamliel was the Nasi, and Rabbi Gamliel had an issue with Rabbi Yeshua. It was a dispute over over Tefillah Shabbos, if it's a Shus, if it's Chayva, and they disagreed. And Gamliel, he made it difficult for Rabbi Shiur. There was also a Maisa that about a question of when Yom Kippur was, and Gamliel made him come on Yom Kippur carrying his packages. So the Chacham were very unhappy with this. They didn't think he's dealing proper, and they decided to demote Rabbi Gamliel. But the question is, if you demote Rabbi Gamliel, you have to have a Nasi. Who's going to be the Nasi? So they were thinking about different candidates. They came up with Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah. Why Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah? Because Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah was a rich man, and he came from a yichus. So they came up with him. So now that Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah became Nasi, so he made new laws. B'shas Rabbi Gamliel was Nasi, they were very strict on accepting Talmidim and Beis Medrash. It had to be teichlik about it. And when he came out, he said, let everyone open up the doors, let everyone come in. No borders, so to say. Everyone can come in. So that day, the Gemara said that there was 400 chairs were added in the Beis Medrash to accommodate all the Talmidim, and there were people that were darshaning. So these are things that were darshaned in that day. Boy Bayom, that day. So the Gemara says, Boy Bayom Darish Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva darshaned on that day an Indian of Tumah. He darshaned as follows. The Pasuk says, Ukli Cheres, if you have an earthen, let's say an earthen oven, you have an oven that's made from earth, Asher Yipol Behem El Toichai, that something will fall in it, Kol Asher B'Toichai Yitma. Everything that falls into the oven becomes tummy. We're talking that the oven was tummy, and everything that falls in becomes tummy. Eina Oimer Tummy Ela Yitma. Tummy means that it becomes tummy, and Yitma means that it can make tummy something else. In other words, by Tumah, we have levels. There's the Rishon and the Sheni. Halachically, there's the Rishon and the Sheni. By Chulun, and by Chulun it doesn't go further. Then by Truma, there's a Shlishi. Then by Kodshim, there's a Revi. And by Chatas, there's a Chamishi. So when the oven is the Rishon, and something that falls into it becomes a Sheni, and it doesn't say Kol Shabbateli Tamei. If it says Tamei, that means that it only goes to Sheni. But it says Yitma, so Yitma means that it can be Mitama further. It can make a Shlishi. So the Chiddush is that even by Chulun we have a Shlishi, according to this opinion. So look again at the words. Rabbi Akiva says, the Pasuk says, the Kucheres Ashiyipul Mehem El Toicha, Kol Sheva Toicha Yitma, Eina Oima Tame. It doesn't say Tame. Tame would mean that it becomes a Sheni. Ela Yitma, L'Tame Acherim. Lamad, that teaches us, Akika Sheni, She Metame Es Shlishi, that a kika, a loaf of bread that became a sheni, could also convey tumah further and make a shlishi by chulin. Rabbi Yeshua said, "Mi yegala ofer me'encha Rabbi Yochanan b'Zakkai." Like, in other words, halavai Rabbi Yochanan b'Zakkai, you would see what's going on. Shehayisa you said that also dar achal latar kika shlishi she'en mikra min hatayra. You said that a shlishi even by kodshim, not by chulin, even by kodshim doesn't exist. Maybe mikra hatayra shu tamei shenema kol hashavatoicha yitma. It's a gewaldige chiddush. You said that there'll come a time that they'll say by Truma there isn't a Shlishi. And comes along your Talmud and says that by Chulin there's even going to be a Shlishi. Like Halavai, you would see what's going on, so to say. Then the Gemara says another thing. By Bayayim, again, on this day, it was a big celebration that day. It was an open house, so to say. So by Bayayim, Dorish, Rabbi Akiva Darshan, there is a din by the Levium, didn't have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael. However, there were certain cities that were given, there were the Orim Mikkel belonged to the Levium, and there's also another 48 cities that were given to the Levium. So Shetin Pasuk Umadoisa Michutz La'ir, you should, out of the city, you should measure another 2,000 amma, and that should also belong to the Levium. That 2,000 amma was, 1,000 amma was just open for air and beauty, and the other 1,000 amma were fields like Hadesim. So the Yisrael says, steht in Dorish Rabbi Akiva, bei Bayan Dorish Rabbi Akiva Darshan, steht in Pasuk Umadoisa Michutz La'ir, es ba'as Kedma, Apayim Ba'amah, and the other side, also you should give each side of the city, you should give 2,000 amma. Umikra Echad Aimed, there's another person that says, Mikira Eir V'chutza Elef amma, that from the wall of the city and out of it, in other words, beyond, in front of it, is 1,000 amma. So what is it? Is it 1,000 or is it 2,000? What is it? So Rabbi Akiva Darshan Elef Mikira Eir V'chutza Elef amma Saviv. So he's asking the question. You can't say that you should give only 1,000 amma, shekvanam apayim amma. V'ef shaloim apayim amma. You can't say you should give 2,000 because shekvanam elef amma. So how do we make that the two psukim should concur with each other? Ela zak the Gemara. Okay, so how's it possible? Elef amma migrash, apayim amma tchum Shabbat. Migrash means, like I told you, like an open area for the beauty of the city. Shouldn't be anything in front of it. And then when they get to Tchum Shabbos, so that's where the shit of 2,000 amma come in. The Belezer B'nai Shad of Yosef Glilayma, he says different. He says, Elef amma migrish. Tak, I agree that the first 1,000 amma in front should be migrish, should be an open area. Abba Apayim amma sotah sakramim. Now the Gemara says another thing. By Bayayim, on that day, another thing up in Gedashim. By Bayayim, Dorish Rabbi Akiva again.
He was the only one holding the microphone, Rabbi Akiva.
He didn't give it up once he got the mic in his hand. So the more By Bayayim, Dorish Rabbi Akiva Dashim, Shaitan Pasuk Oz Yosh Moshe Neisol, Es Ashir Azaz Hashem Bayayim Leimar, Shein Talmud Leimar Leimar. Leimar always means, when the Pasuk said, V'dat b'shem Moshe Leimar, what does Leimar mean? V'dat b'shem Moshe Leimar, he should say it to someone else. But there's no such thing as someone, everybody was there. So what is Oz Yoshem Moshe B'nei Yisrael? All of them together. What's Leimar? My Talmud Leimar, Melamed Shahayu Yisrael Einim Shira Achav Shal Moshe Akol Davar V'Davar Kekaydin Es HaHalal. Like when you read Halal. The Gemara will explain what that means. No, they were repeating Moshe. Yeah. And the therefore says Leimar that they were repeating. In other words, Moshe was saying, and they were repeating Moshe. Nebnechem Yaima Kekaydin Es Hashma V'loi Kekaydin Es Halal. Okay, it's another way. The question is, was it the one pasuk that they were repeating? The Gemara is going to go into this deep. I'm not going to go into it now. Now the Gemara says, By Bayayim Daresh of Yishuv ben Hokanus. Yishuv ben Hokanus got his chance, and he also made a drush on that day. And he says, over Eiv as a Torah Elame Ava. Eiv as a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Eiv was a person that suffered a lot, and he complained a lot about his suffering. So he says Eiv was a finer Yid. Eiv had Avos Hashem. But over Eiv, as a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Elam Av Shenema, Hein Yikteruni Loi Ayachal. Hein Yikteruni Loi Ayachal means Hein Yikteruni, that if he kills me, I'll still pray to him. It's simple that he loved the Eibishter. Of a Dayan Adav Shokel, Ani Mitzapa, Ani Mitzapa, you can touch his say, Loi Ayachal, I will hope to him, or Loi with an Aleph, I will not hope to him. So it's not so clear from that pasuk. Talmud Leimer, Ad Egva, till I die, Loi Ose Tam Tumosi Mimenu. Till I die, I will not forsake my completeness with the Eibishter. So you see that he was an Eivid Hashem. Melamed Sheme'ava also. Omar Rabbi Shiur. So Rabbi Shiur said, Mi Yegal Ofa Me'encha Rabbi Yochanan B'Zakei. I'll invite Rabbi Yochanan, you see what's going on over here. Shehayisa Daidesh Kol Yamecha, all your life you were darshaning Shaloi Obed Oy Eiv as a Mokum Elam Yirah. Shenema Ish Tam V'Yoshe Yirei Elokim V'Sor Meirah. That's how they describe Eiv, as a Yir Shemayim. V'ala Yeshua Talmud Tamidcha Lo Amad Sheme Alva Asa, that not Me'Yirah nor Me'Alva. Okay.